Welcome back to the Toledo Rockets podcast. Today's episode gonna sound a bit of an alarm on the men's basketball program. What I feel is a bit of an alarm. It's going to be very interesting to see how well this team plays in 2023 because there's a lot of losses from this team. First of all, JT Shoemate and Cedric Milner have graduated, right? Or they're graduating, so they will not be back. Then Ray J. Dennis, the MAC Player of the Year, has decided he's going to forego his last year of eligibility and enter the NBA draft. So the top three scorers from this team are all gone. Those are really big shoes to fill. I know that the year before they lost Ryan Rollins, but that was one player, one very, very good player, but still one player. Now they're replacing the top three leading scorers on the team. Then one of the better players off the bench, EJ Farmer, he has gone into the transfer portal with the intention of transferring. So there's another player gone, right? Altogether, when you look at it, there are three players that have entered the transfer portal. EJ Farmer, of course. Then you got sophomore Cooper Jacoby and freshman Cooper Davis. The two Coopers, not as big of a deal. You know, they played very sparingly. And yeah, it's just that isn't as much of a concern. EJ Farmer is a bit of a concern. 6'5", 175 pounds or so. So not the biggest, but decent size, very athletic. And, he had several games. He'd score around 15 points off the bench and showed he could score. Like I said, you're losing Ray J. Dennis, JT Shoemate, Cedric Milner III, so your top three leading scorers. Then you add in EJ Farmer. Yes, you will get Tyler Cochran back from injury. Hopefully, he redshirted this year with an injury. And hopefully he will be able to go back to the type of player he was before, which would be very exciting for the team. No doubt about it. Then you look at Javon Simmons. He's a freshman that redshirted this year. So he'll be a redshirt freshman in 2023-2024 season. 6'7", 235 pounds, really good size. They definitely need somebody that size to really come in and play, no doubt about it. You do have Lawrenson, 6'8". He is going to be a junior. Of course, AJ Adu, he's 6'10". But they're rather skinny frames, for their size, right? They're big guys, but tall guys, but not necessarily big, right? They're somewhat skinny frames. So you don't have a lot of really good size. And I think that's something that hurt the team this year at different times where they were out rebounded, gave up too many offensive rebounds and so forth. So they definitely need better size than what they've got, especially when you lose your top three leading scorers. You look at incoming freshmen or incoming recruits, right? You got Sam Lewis, Xavier Thomas, Sonny Wilson. So two of those guys are around 6'5", guard forward combos, right? Thomas and Lewis. Decent size, I guess, right? But still, again, not the really big frame that you really need, right? And then you got Sonny Wilson. He's 6'1" guard, pretty much point guard. So again, you don't have that big player, right? I think maybe they can try and find something in the transfer portal. I don't know. But I think that's key to really help with the rebounding. They got to be better rebounding, especially defensively and not giving up offensive rebounds. And they've got to play better defensively altogether going into 2023 because, they lose so much scoring from this team. You can't expect them to be as good offensively as they were this year. Yeah, Dante Maddox, very good three-point shooter. He can score points. You got, for instance, Raheem Moss. He's a guy probably is more of a defender type and can score, but he's not going to, he's not going to step in there and be that Ray J. Dennis type guy that's just going to take over and score a lot of points for you, right? So who's going to step up? Andre Lawrenson, AJ Adu, Dante Maddox, Tyler Cochran. If he has the type of year that he could, if he comes back from injury and doesn't seem to have those issues, he could be a scorer. And of course, I mentioned Maddox, but then after that, you kind of wonder where a lot of the scoring is going to come from on this team. So it'll be interesting to see how some of the incoming true freshmen play. And it'll be interesting to see if we can maybe get a transfer with good size, a guy at least 6'8", 6'9", 200, 220 pounds or so, maybe even a little bigger than that. Just somebody that can really be that big dominating force more inside and help with the rebounding and block shots and that kind of stuff, just to keep teams from, being able to score sometimes at will against Toledo like they did this year. So we talked about Tod Kowalchuk, 3 MAC regular season titles in a row, MAC Coach of the Year, I believe 2nd year in a row this year, right? And there's been a lot of criticism that Toledo has not made it to the NCAA tournament, and it's well warranted. But we're going to find out just how good of a coach he is this year. Because if he has this team in 2023 up at the top of the MAC, battling for another MAC regular season title and hopefully a chance this time to actually win the MAC tournament, if he has a team that good that's battling up there as one of those top teams, top couple of teams, then it shows that he is a very, very good coach. Because right now, when you look at what is coming back, what we have coming into the program, with losing your top 3 scorers, the MAC Player of the Year, and Milner and Shoemate, just especially Milner, it seemed like when the Rockets really need a basket, if it wasn't Ray J. Dennis, it was Cedric Milner. So when you lose all of that, if you can still come back the next year here, 2023-24, and be a very, very competitive team in the MAC with a shot at a MAC title, then you have done a heck of a job as a coach. So we'll find out if he really is that good of the coach. And, it's going to be interesting to see, because I think there are some good players. Javon Simmons is a guy that I think could have played this year. The decision was made to redshirt him, and Coach Kowalchuk did say a little bit as the season went on, he kind of regretted that he redshirted him, but at this point, you need to stay redshirted. And he could have been used last year, right? This past season. So I think he's a guy that can really help. He's got good size. He's 6'7", 235 pounds. So he is one of those bigger guys that could definitely help. But I don't see another guy of that type of size on this roster. Like I said, you got Lortenson, and AJ Adu, but they are thin. They are not really as much of a guy that's going to be a physical presence down low. And, looking at Simmons, he is 235 pounds, but he's 6'7". Be nice if he was more like 6'9", 6'10". When you're looking at, somebody that can really dominate down low, but he'll help some. So the question is, how good can this team be in 2023? Looking at all the losses, again, top 3 leading scorers, it's going to be interesting to see if they can still be competitive. So let me know in the comments what you think, Rocket fans. Do you think that they'll be competitive again in 2023 and have a shot at another MAC regular season title? Or is it going to be a bit of a step back here?